Alright, so I bought this maybe a year ago, about 75 bucks I think, at a discount store. One of those stores that resells new merchandise they get in bulk. It's worked out well. It doesn't have a windscreen, so I want to weld one of those on because it does create quite a lot of wind resistance. And then as you can see, the hardware is rusting. I think it's made out of zinc or something, so I got some stainless steel hardware for that. So the plan today is to take the whole thing off, sand off the rust, repaint, and then replace with stainless steel hardware and make a windscreen. But yeah, anyone who has a car with a rack on it that they want to make useful for carrying stuff, this thing is huge help. Firewood, I would say, most often gets put up there. But yeah, like, you know, you got a baby stroller, you got all sorts of stuff. You could put boxes, I mean, yeah, basically anything. This just creates a nice border for it, so it's not going to go sliding off, and then a couple straps over the top and you're solid. Obviously you're going to get a lot of wind resistance, but yeah, you can carry a lot more. So I love this thing, just want to make it a little bit better, get the rust off the top of my car. So that's what we're going to tackle today. Okay, so for these little pieces of hardware, if the rust is real minimal, I'm just gonna set them aside and hit it with a wire brush, maybe a little grinder. If the rust is more significant, I'm just gonna float them in a vinegar water bath. That makes sense. So it looks like all the bottom brackets are rusted here because this is where the water would sit. So water would constantly sit here and rust. So when I go to reinstall these, I will apply some rust preventative goop on there. And a little H2O. Let's let those soak for about an hour and then we'll scrub them. You know what? I don't think that's going to need an hour. That's already coming off real quick. I'll put a pair of gloves on and give those a scrub right now. Seeing how easy that's coming off, it doesn't even need a wire brush. Just needs a little bit of rag action. Almost looks brand new. This time just pure water to rinse them. Now I'm going to place them in the sun and let them dry. Let those dry in the sun. Use some vinegar again to see how bad this rust is. Let's get some of the surface rust off with this. So I'm going to repaint these whole things, so I'm going to rough them up with sandpaper, obviously, before I do, but just try to get some surface rust off, and then maybe some of the more serious rust I'll sand off. So I got here a few things, a sanding sponge, 150 grit, and a Scotch-Brite pad, so I'm gonna kind of toy around with each one and see what seems to get the job done the best. Start off light and move towards heavy if we need it. Pretty good. Still a whole lot of rust in there though. Do the same thing with this. Better yet, combine the two. We can jam that wad in there. Oh yeah. I was real smart. I'd figure out a way to stick a drill on here and but I'll just do it the slow old-fashioned way. I'll rough the whole thing up for paint job. I think I may hit this one with a wire brush on a drill, so I can save some time that way. I also have a wire brush on a grinder, so. Oh. Whereas the sanding, yeah, a lot less invasive. That went down to bare metal in couple seconds, so I'm gonna have to be real light with this if I don't want to take off all the previous coat. What's happening? It's about a little above freezing outside. Got the wood stove crackling. We're about to paint that cargo basket. So let's get after it. Alright, so we're just going to give this hardware covered in rust quick wipe down. It's been sitting in the vinegar for about a week, I think. Just had a baby, so I was in the hospital for like 3 days, and then of course my wife had the baby, but we had a baby. And yeah, anyways, had a good long soak in the vinegar, so most all the rust dissolved off. And I'm just going to get a little paper towel to wipe off the few parts that didn't. Don't really care that much about doing a great job because I'm not going to reuse this hardware, but at least clean it up a bit for my next project in which I might use it. I'll be replacing the hardware on the roof cargo basket with stainless steel. Yeah, those nuts look fine, so I'm not even gonna. So now I'm going to get a measurement for how I want my windscreen to look. Just want to point out that I just put my finger up to the grinding wheel without the guard on, and that's why you wear leather gloves. Not even a scratch or a burn, a little black mark, but no broken skin. Imagine if I hadn't had this glove on. Use the guard, kids. Alright, now I got my grinder on here to smooth out the edges. I'm going to switch to a rawer brush. I think that'll be better for taking off the rust. Then I gave it a little with the black spray paint and measured to make a few more cuts to get it to sit nicely on the cargo rack before I welded it on. Then I cut these support brackets out of the leftover scrap so that it'll have more rigidity when I weld it on. And in this bottle I have a rust preventative coating. It's a real thick jelly-like substance, so I went ahead and assembled the cargo rack and coated the entire bottom side, at least these main pipes here, with this rust preventative coating because that's where the significant rust was. And I made sure to hit these little zinc screws as well because while I'm replacing stainless steel nuts and bolts on the main mounting hardware, I'm keeping these little zinc screws because I didn't get stainless steel replacements. So there's the completed project. Really happy with how it turned out. This wind deflector here is gonna save me a lot of gas mileage, and then the stainless steel hardware should take a lot longer to rust, if it ever rusts at all. And then as you can see, I did the rust preventative spray goop all over the most rust prone spots. So there you go. That's how you rust proof and put a wind deflector on your cargo rack.